Good morning, everyone. This is Jeffe Kennedy, author of fantasy romance and romantic fantasy, and never the twain shall meet. I'm here with my first cup of coffee. I don't know why it makes me laugh that I do the chimes thing. It just amuses me. Today is Monday, August 2nd. Already August. My birth month. My mom already wished me a happy birth month. And look, we're doing earrings today. I finally got around to repairing earrings, so I'll do these first off because I want to take them off. But aren't they fabulous? For those of you not on video, they are great big faceted rectangles that are what crystals, rhinestones. I mean, they're like they are the size of the last joint of my thumb. I will hold it up for you here. These were my grandmother's also. Aren't they amazing? They're so beautiful. I should really have these converted to posts. I wonder if they're too heavy though. But I've worn them on occasion, but like most clip earrings, they grow uncomfortable pretty fast. I don't know, maybe if you wear them long enough, maybe our grandmothers had like totally muscular earlobes, but maybe if you wear them long enough, your earlobes get numb. I don't know. It's kind of like, nipple clamps. I never got the whole nipple clamp thing. Not dissing those of you who love them, but it's like, okay, so they hurt like the fires of hell until your nipples go numb. And yes, I know I've written nipple clamps. They sound very sexy in theory, not so sexy in reality. Maybe it's me. I know I'm a princess. I am like hypersensitive to stuff. But this is what you're here for. Our first cup of coffee. We range from going from rhinestone earrings to nipple clamps. Oh, really with I hope you have had a good sip of coffee there. So they're so beautiful. Look at that. I think I'll set them up here so I can like gaze on their scintillating beauty. There we go. I think there are kits you can buy, aren't there, where you can convert to posts yourself. But see, like my ear hurts now just from wearing. I put them on and made my coffee and came out, and my ear hurts. That was a bland look into the camera. Um, so, so I am really trying to get back into having an unplugged day once a week, which is not easy to set up in my life, but I do feel like it's really necessary. And I know I talk about it all the time, so feel free to like skip today's episode if you're rolling your eyes at me um, for talking about. I have my themes, right? And some things it seems like you just rediscover. Like you come back to them time and time again and you have to relearn the same lessons. So, um, Saturday, I did not turn on my laptop. I did look at my phone. I was talking with my friend Megan Mulry, the fabulous Megan Mulry. I saw her on Tuesday, stopped by her house after my prearranged, um, after my manicure, and we drank champagne, and it was lovely. Brut rosé. It was a good time because her guy was out of town, so it was just the two of us, and we had a wide ranging conversation, and it was delightful. Um, but she was talking about how, like, for his birthday a year ago, yeah, they went on a road trip to some little places in New Mexico, and it was, not easy because it was still pandemic stuff, but they'd found places where they could go. And one of the things he'd asked of her was that she not turn on her phone all weekend and not look at her phone, which is kind of a big ask. Um, I feel like I am not that compulsive about looking at my phone, but I do look at it a lot. Uh, one of the things I used to love about going to yoga class was that I would turn off my phone and I would just leave it in the cubby or in the car, and I would not look at my phone for a good hour and a half. And it's one reason why Zoom yoga doesn't work for me. Even if I silence my phone and have it in the other room, it's like there and it's accessible, and I'm online. So I thought, well, okay, Saturday I'm going to really try this again. Um, I only have a couple things on my phone. You may have heard me mention that before. I only have Instagram, text, Google Hangouts, and email. Only four of the methods of things. But it's not all the things, at least. So I decided, okay, I'm just not going to turn on my laptop at all. Which also means I don't look at my calendar, and I do have my calendar on my phone. Another thing, five things. Um, but I knew I had no appointments. I knew I had nothing that I was obligated to do. And I thought, and a lot of times I turn on my laptop anyway so I could see my to do list. And I thought, no, in many ways, I'm not sure my to do list is always very healthy for me because it creates a sense of pressure. So I thought, okay, I am just going to, thought to myself, I am just not going to turn on the laptop at all on Saturday and see how I do. And it was a little bit of a difficult choice to make because I feel like I'm behind. Do I always feel like I'm behind? Maybe. That could be part of the pressure of the to-do list, having all of these things that are not yet done. The very nature of the list. But there's no point in having a done list, right? So I thought, well, I'll just do everything I can on Saturday that I can remember on my own that does not require the computer. So much requires the computer. And I thought, well, and if I run out of out of things to do that don't require the computer, then I can do whatever I feel like. Maybe I'll think up new things. So it was interesting. I have not done it in a while like that. Um, but I read a paper book. I've been reading Laini Taylor's Daughter of Smoke and Bone, which, yeah, I know I'm totally late to the party on that. A friend of mine, a reader, hi Terry, told me I should read it because she really loved it. And I had a copy of it. My first agent gifted me a copy of that book, and I'd never read it. I did have it somewhat. Is it Daughter of? Did I say Smoke and Bone? Smoke and Bone. Yeah, I think that's right. Daughter of Smoke and Bone. I had it confused with Lee Bardugo's Shadow and Bone because I started when Terry was saying, "Oh, you should read this," and I said, "Oh, I finally read it, and it really annoyed me that she ended up with the wrong guy." And at first she was nodding along, and then she's like, "We are not talking about the same book," and I said, "We're not." And she's like, "No, this one's about angels and devils," and I was like, "Oh, bad me." So yeah, it turns out I never tried to read it. And it's interesting. It's a good book. I'm curious as to why Laini Taylor hasn't written more since. It seems like she hasn't really written much since like 2018. So I tried to look up. Maybe she's just been. I couldn't figure out why. It always makes me curious when a writer seems to drop off like that. But anyway, so I read a paper book. Technically, I could have read on my Kindle Paperwhite, but I had finished a book on there recently. Do I remember which one? Oh, Jane Doe. I finished reading Jane Doe, which I do highly recommend that. Mom, you would really like that book. Um, and what else did I do? Then I went for a very long walk. I went for a hike for a couple of hours. And then I puttered around and took care of everything I could think of that didn't require a computer, which did include, whoop, I'm like popping up windows, jewelry repair. That's why I did get all of the jewelry repaired, and I got my parrot clasps attached to the several charms that I've received in the meantime. And so that was great to get my charm bracelet is now caught up. What else did I do? Oh, I reorganized my bookshelves. If you aren't so, I don't know if I talked about it on here, probably not because I was so busy ranting last week. Today we're doing a fresh week, now with less ranting. The gals who clean my house, because I have talked about that, like this big transition, paying someone to clean my house, and they come on every other Tuesday afternoon, and they're here. Two of them are here for 3 hours, and they are like a tornado. And I mean, they're getting things clean in this house that have not been cleaned since we moved in. So it's worth every penny. It's amazing. Uh, Tuesday afternoon, I went off and got my manicure, as I mentioned. And when I came back, they had been in to clean my office, which is, that's great. I wasn't there. It's what they should do. But they had cleaned my bookshelves, and they had cleaned my bookshelves by pulling all the books out and dusting them all. They needed it, you guys. They really needed it. But they put them back out of order, totally out of order. Some are upside down. Series are all out of order. They had taken books that I had like stacked carefully in TBR piles and put them in with the favorite keepers. Uh, those of you who are, I think you're all readers, right? Otherwise, why would you be here? You're all cringing with me, right? So I was feeling very much like, and I posted this to, I don't know, Facebook or Twitter, or maybe both. But, that kind of, I feel like I've seen this scene in movies many times when the curmudgeonly writer, is in his, and I feel like it's always his, library with books piled everywhere and his desk with all this stuff on it, and the long suffering, well meaning female who keeps his life going, his housekeeper, sister, daughter, mother, wife, who knows, it's like her role is infinite. Um, when she attempts to clean his office, he like goes into a rage, and he's like, "No, don't move my papers, don't move my books, stay out." And she's like, "But you need to have it cleaned." Maybe she'll cry a little bit. And I don't know. It's very tropey, I feel like. But I felt like this writer. I was like, "No, don't touch my books." But I was glad they did, because it obviously needed serious dusting. And I had been laughing because I have this. So the bookshelves in my office are special selves because they're the books that I find particularly inspirational. So they are particular books out of series or particular authors, and I do have them grouped a particular way. But it's I changed this up a long time ago. Instead of having all books everywhere strictly organized by genre or by author, the ones with inside of my desk are the ones that inspire me. That I want to have books like those that I've written. I also have my own books in my office. So I have this one shelf, though, that is something of an exception to this, in that I have all of the sexy erotic books on this one shelf. Partly because I don't have all that many of them, and so they do fit on just one shelf. But it's stuff like Story of O, the Beauty trilogy by Anne Rice and Rampling, um, Justine. I mean, I do have the Marquis de Sade Compendium, Story of Priapus. You know what I'm talking about. Uh, and it was funny because I could see that they were not dusting this one bookshelf. And I was even going to take a picture of it this time because I thought, well, it's really funny that they're not dusting this shelf at all, because like, is it because they don't want to go near the sexy books? But now they have, and they did the complete turnover and all of that. So I did reorganize my bookshelves. I put things back in order. I did cull some out. So it was all in all a good thing. It was good that I ended up doing that. I also went down a bit of a rabbit hole. Oh no, this was yesterday. Yeah. Oh well, it all blends together. Doing bookstagram pictures. So I did get a whole lot of things organized and caught up that way. What else did I end up doing on Saturday? It ended up taking the whole day. I mean, I did the bookshelves. I did lots of repairs. I had, like all of those little things. Once I had the Gorilla Glue and the Super Glue out, I got all of that done. But it's interesting to do that, to have a day where I don't do any work on the computer, and I am, this is where I bring out my cane and shake it at you kids. uh, Computers came out when I was in high school, but there I did not have a computer at home until the early 90s, like 93, something like that. And even then I did not use it extensively. I didn't have a smartphone until, probably 99. So, I know this is like a very Gen X thing, but I still remember it, having that day where I did not turn on the laptop really took me back to those days, where I would not be online, where I would not have a computer, that took up time, because it's amazing how fast time goes when you're on the computer. Have you guys noticed that? Time flies by. And when you're just dorking around on the computer. Um, and so it was interesting because I remembered being in that mental space like I would, in the 90s, and even the yeah, I would say even like the early 2000s. I'm trying to remember because I didn't get on Twitter and Facebook until like 2009. So a lot of this is social media. So yeah, even the early 2000s and mid 2000s, where I would spend a weekend, puttering around and doing things like making quilts and reading books and watching movies and that kind of thing, but not tooling around on social media. And I've never been one to say that social media is evil, but it is amazing how much of a time suck it is and all that it involves. So, so yeah, I think it was really good to do that unplugged day and to be liberated of my to-do list for a day. I did do a number of things off of the list, some things I forgot about. Um, that must not have been very important. Actually, there was only one major thing that I did not do that I could have done and forgot about. Um, yeah. So it was interesting. It was good to do. And then yesterday, I did get online, and day flew by, but I got a lot of royalties crunched and stuff, and went down the rabbit hole of bookstagramming and taking those photos and stuff. And looking forward to a productive week this week. We've still been getting more storms, more hail. My poor grapevine is really kind of shredded from all the hail. I'm really sorry, grapes. But can you guys see the grapes? These are a little bit more sheltered. It's the ones up top, and on that east side that are really looking lacy. But I guess you get a choice, right? You get, if you want, into every life a little hail must come. If you want the rain, you get the hail. Oh, hail. Old joke. So anyway, I think that's about it for me today. Hoping for a productive week, lots of words on Dragon's Daughter, and yeah. So I hope you all are going to have a productive week if that's what you wish for. And I will remind you all that First Cup of Coffee is part of the Frolic Media Podcast Network, and you will find more podcasts that you love at frolic.media/podcasts. And I will talk to you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.